everyone, it's your one and only LoveZombie, here to talk about something quite personal to me. Disability, specifically disability and Vtubing. Quick disclaimer. Of course, since this video is a topic quite close to me, a lot of this content is going to be opinionated and come from personal experience. Since experiences like this aren't going to be universal, please take care not to view it as the be-all end-all. It's just a little perspective into how the two interconnect. With that out of the way, let's get talking. First, let's talk about disability. Often, at times, when people hear the words disabled or handicapped, their first thoughts are of someone in a wheelchair, or perhaps someone with limited or no mobility. And whilst mobility challenges and pains are definitely valid disabling factors, there's also much more to disability than that. Disabilities can come in many forms. Sight and hearing impairments, learning or memory difficulties, internal and health issues. The human body is a very complex machine and comes with its own complications. We do have access to many aids though. Hearing aids, crutches, walking sticks and stools, along with healthcare to ease pain and sickness. A lot of people incorrectly believe these aspects alone can fix someone with ability issues or bring them up to speed with the rest of the able world, but unfortunately that is a misconception. Of course, nowadays, media representation is also increasing. We are able to see people appear with health difficulties, deafness, blindness, mobility challenges, and even mental factors. And while this is an improvement, a lot of the struggles we face are often mistranslated or even completely glossed over, which can be very frustrating for some people. After all, without understanding these struggles, it can be difficult to imagine why we would even need something like accommodations or accessibility in the first place. Accommodations like text-to-speech software, elevators, quiet spaces, adequate breaks, ergonomic workstations, written instructions in clear and concise language, these all take time and money, and many businesses or properties simply don't believe them necessary or even care enough to ensure the proper infrastructure is in place. Even if these things would likely benefit able people too. Finding jobs with the right accommodations, atmosphere, and facilities can be incredibly challenging. That's why people with handicaps often thrive under self-employment. Tailoring, art, catering, even modeling. There are many professions in which we are able to finally establish ourselves. And with the turn of the new decade, this has become even easier with new avenues for communication, development, and broadcasting. This is, of course, thanks to technology. Technology and the internet, as we know them, have always been huge assets. Computers can read aloud to the blind, write to the hard of hearing, and are able to produce countless avenues of translation and communication to those who may struggle with them. And in this day and age, where almost all of the world is online, accessibility for it has never been better. It always amazes me that one person could write a program, and within a week, it's already changed hundreds of lives. It's not only about software though. Hardware developments have been making leaps and bounds. See, originally motion capture performances were recorded in studios. Mocap technology was utilized for video games beginning in the mid-90s, and eventually made its way into cinema. There, the first fully motion captured character, one Jar Jar Binks, was born. If you hate him or you love him, he is technically our shared ancestor. We are all, fortunately, or unfortunately, children of Peepaw Binks. There's also an honorable mention here to Uncle Gollum, who was motion captured in his neat little blue ball suit. The mention of mocap in the early 2000s would usually bring to mind those skin suits with those tiny bubbles, reflective markers to feed the system's location and rotation data. Now, though, it's a little different. Like, my tracking is done with my mobile phone. I have more than 50 blend shapes tracked for, and options for how smooth or how rough I want my motions to be. If I want to use my real eyes when tracking, adjusting the values of each blend shape. Just a few years ago, stuff like this would have been way out of reach for the general public. And now, it costs me like a one-time payment of $10 on the App Store. Nice. Because of entertainment systems advancements, such as recent iPhones having infrared, or VR systems with trackers, capturing your own movement and converting it into usable data has never been easier. Separate devices are also able to feed each other data during real time using open sound control. or OSC for short. I won't try to get in depth with this since it's a little beyond me, but it uses both Ethernet and internet connections, and it came out all the way back in 2002, which I think is a pretty good testament to how useful it is if it's still around today. So, we now know why disabled people have an easier time with all this stuff finally accessible in the home. What about the actual production of content? Streaming in itself is so accessible. I can start and end when I want, and there's no predetermined length or genre unless it's set by myself, and most of all, there's no penalty if I just can't do it that day. As an indie hobbyist YouTuber, everything's up to me, and yeah, it's pretty daunting, but the benefits couldn't be better. Doing this all from my desk is incredible. I struggle getting outdoors a lot between the physical challenges of me getting there and my social poor battery. I usually get about 2 hours of functionality before I need to return home, or I just collapse. It can get really isolating sometimes. But in my own experience, my community has been really, really sweet about my troubles and pains. They understand if I just can't make it, or if I have to end streaming early. The support and positive reception I've had has well exceeded anything I ever could have thought. Even other VTubers have been really nice to me. I understand there's always drama here and there, but I've made plenty of good friends through my VTubing too. Especially since a lot of them also have illnesses and ailments. It really makes me feel like I'm not alone in my struggles. One rather well-known VTuber who also struggles with health is Ironmouse.
Ironmouse is a founding member of the VTubing organization Bishoujo, and also began streaming in 2017. As of now, she has over 1.73 million followers. She's the first VTuber to ever make it into Twitch's top 10, and has done plenty to raise awareness for her condition CVID.
Ironmouse has been diagnosed with common variable immunodeficiency. This condition means she has low levels of protective antibodies and is susceptible to sickness and infection. However, with VTubing, she's still been able to entertain people and even virtually attend conventions to meet with fans. It's super inspiring and really heartwarming to see someone up on the big screen who also struggles with the same things that I do. Many of these conditions impact our lives and livelihoods, and whether we like it or not, it is a part of us. Everyone is shaped by their experiences. A lot of people will wear these things on their sleeves, even online, and that's why I love having the freedom to express myself through my avatar. I know some VTubers also customize themselves based on what they struggle with, both physically, but also through intricate stories and lore. It's really great, and honestly, it makes me so happy to see so many creative avenues being utilized in such an interesting way. Of course, broadcasting isn't the only use for these technologies. I'd like to give an honorable mention to games such as VRChat and LoewFii. LoewFii and VRChat both allow use of full body tracking, along with face and eye tracking. Not only does this allow for people to express themselves as they would in real life and contribute significantly to immersion, it has also given rise to a new wave of accessibility. Player-driven accessibility. Users in VRChat has even gone so far to modify sign language to use with their controllers. Others have added signboards and pens to their publicly available avatars. There are even worlds full of tutorial videos on ASL, BSL, and other sign languages, and even scheduled classes hosted by those fluent. How cool is that? As a closing note, I also wanted to voice my appreciation for the virtual streaming community. The internet has plenty of beautiful worlds to explore and wonderful people to meet, and I am very grateful for the opportunity to witness and enjoy the hard work of everyone around me. It's amazing to see what everyone is capable of in their own environment, and I really hope the sentiment only grows. I hope you all enjoyed this video, or at least find it informative. Is there something I forgot to mention, or something you would have liked to have seen? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks! This is your one and only Love Zombie, signing off!